Hello, this is Maaike here, and thank you for coming and joining me in part 2 of my Are You Yeti for Christmas? So this is the card we're making, and in part 1 I showed you how I partial die cut the window and I fussy cut out the Yeti. I stamped the sentiment from the My Favorite Things stamp set as well, also Memento ink, and now I'm tracing where the edges are, or where I want to ink it and where I don't, because I don't want it to come from behind the matting. So I'm putting post-it tape down, and I'm making sure it's bigger than a circle, so if you look from the side you won't see any white bits. And this bit I'm putting down here was not necessary. And I looked at my blending recipes for which sky I would like to use, and in the end I went for the one you saw there, and that is Dusty Concord, Shaded Lilac, and Tumbled Glass. I'm just doing it upside down. Sometimes I find these blending foams and I put them in the little tin. I don't know which colors they belong to, so not to these three anyway. I'm putting down a bit of scrap paper, so if I mess up the ink blending, I won't mess up my craft mat. And I'm starting with Dusty Concord. And I start a little bit of the paper, so on the post-it, and then I go back and forth until I get the saturations that level, or the saturation level that I like. And I'm trying to divide it into 3 equal parts, but also to keep the darkest color to a minimum. So I think the Shaded Lilac and the Dusty Concord together is half, and the Tumbled Glass is the bottom half. So this is a new foam, and it just doesn't take up the ink very well. I think something has changed on those foams. Don't know what, but I'm not sure I like them. So Tumbled Glass. And if you're really concerned about it, you can, only ink blend the circle bit, but I like to go a little bit outside the edges of the circle. So as I say, when you look at it from the side, because I'm gonna erase it with foam tape, you won't see that there's no inking behind the panel. Still cheating, but you don't have to let it know. So this is the Simon System stencil Falling Snow, and I'm looking at the bottom bit because I want a bit of snow, but not too much. I think it will make the background too busy. Vecchi embossing paste, and well, there are not many holes, so you don't need that much. You either get too little out of that jar or too much. So lifting it up, and then I'm putting Wow embossing powder on it, and this is clear hologram sparkle embossing glitter. And yeah, I put it on, but the distress ink wasn't dry yet, of course, so the embossing paste has to dry as well, so we'll fix that later. But I'm going to wash the stencil. And let's review how the inking and stenciling went. I like those colors. You can also, of course, take all blue, but the Dusty Concord and the Shaded Lilac are more on the blue side of purple. So putting it aside to dry while I color my Yeti. and this is something smeared on the front, and it was on the panel from the adventure girl I did earlier. But yeah, not starting again. So I thought, hey, I can maybe fussy cut that tree out from the stem set. But then I thought, hey, no, I'm gonna use a die cut from Crafty Motions. And there was in my original sketch, there was a Yeti with a tree on the side, but it was actually meant to go behind him and not on the front. But I die cut it from the same Craft Emotions, sorry, Crafter's Companion paper. This is Nina Solar White. And then it's the same as the panel where I'm gonna do my Spectrum Noir coloring. See, those two ones from the pine landscape were supposed to go behind it. If you remember my sketch from part 1. And this is really, it's so annoyed because I'm being so careful. I put it to the side and I put it upright so nothing can touch it, and then still something went on it. I think 2 rows just because I had it, but it was too much. I didn't like it. Also, the snowbank ends there. This doesn't really make any sense. So what do? Do you start over when you have a boo-boo, or do you try to fix it and hide it and pretend nothing? See, that's the bit that's smudged. Yes. I better clean my hands as well because one boo-boo is enough. So usually, um, well, I do faces in flesh tones, but I saw Francine Foyam, I'm not sure if I say that right. She did a blue Yeti face, and that was so cute. And I tried it with green as well, but it looked too zombie-like. I didn't like it. Blue is great. And also, usually I do warm gray tones for my animals, my live ones anyway. If they're dead, you can use the green gray or the blue grays or the ice grays, I think. But yeah, if you use green gray or blue gray, then you get that zombie look again. But I made one card with the Yetis earlier this week. See, these are the brown grays. And I kind of like him in the ice grays. But now I'm going to use the blue grays. They're a little bit darker. And the brown grays, yeah, it could be his cousin, the Bigfoot. You know, we also have all different kinds of color hair. And who says Yetis are all the same color? Ah, I never seen one. Have you? No. So, start of course with the lightest color. This is blue gray 1. Then the darkest color is blue gray 3. And I hope you can read my handwriting. And then blue gray 2. And usually I only go up to the edge of where the darkest color is, so you don't bleach it out with your lighter color. But yeah, this one's blue gray 3 was so so I'm looking for one. I made one with the fur coat with fur definition, but I didn't like it. So I was trying to show it to you. I don't know where it went. So anyway, moving on. And as I say, the lighter colors always bleach out the darker colors because there's more alcohol in it. And usually you stay away from the dark colors because otherwise you just erase them and you know you just put them down. And why would you want to go and bleach them out? It doesn't really make sense. But this blue gray is so dark that a little bit of blue gray 2 on top will bleach it out, but just enough to make it blend better with the blue gray 1. BGR1, it's blue gray. See, that's what I usually do, dark and then the light. And then to blend it, I just go over the edge, but No, does it make sense? I thought that little drawing on the side would explain it better, but I don't think it does. Sometimes it's much clearer in someone's head, in my head in this case, than trying to explain it. That's why teaching is quite difficult. See, that one is the ice gray, still different than the blue grays. But because the background's also a bit blue tinged, I think it will go well. So the Christmas lights, I'm only doing one tone because I'm not putting any shading in those small areas. But I am going over with Unico Signo gel pen thingy just to give it a shine, and I also do it on the eyes to give him little dots. I think that make the eyes come alive. Bit of green, yellow, red, blue, Christmas lights. Actually, I prefer my Christmas lights all in one color. But when I was younger, I liked the tree to be all the colors of the rainbow. So how is your Christmas tree? I don't have one anymore because I have cats. No, actually, I don't have the room for him, but I think my cats will ruin it. Yeah. So he's floating around, and I'm using the ice gray this time to give. And I thought about maybe I should use my Copic. I have C1 and C2, but then I thought no, I'm sticking to my spectrums. And I'm gonna do a little grounding on the bottom of the tree that I'm gonna stick on, but not sure where that will be, so I will leave that till a little bit later. Oh, and by the way, don't use the warm grays on your snow, because it will look like somebody peed in it. And it's not a good color for snow. Trust me. So this is the little Crafty Motions die cut. And the shading, same colors as I used on the floor for the Yeti. Ice Gray 1 and Ice Gray 2. Oh, he's so cute. So this is dry now, so I'm heat setting it. But first I am brushing off all the excess glitter. And I thought I zoom out again. Heat setting it with my heat tool just to make sure the glitter doesn't go anywhere. And I'm sure you can't see it on camera, but there's a little shimmer from the glitter. And that's different from the way I did it earlier this week with the Adventure Girl. Then I put the glitter inside the embossing paste. But I wanted to show you can also do it like this. Yeah, foam tape. I'm cutting strips where it needs to be thinner. Should have used a smaller circle. Well, yeah. The dimensions and it needs to be right. The scale of things, proportions and all. I think if you use a smaller window, then all your ink blending will be lost. So think about those things before you try it. Maybe put some pattern paper behind your circle die and see how it will look inside the die. So peeling off a little bit in the corner where the other Christmas trees will go. And I'm positioning it in the bottom so you can't see where the snowbank ends. And it will be a little bit set back from the Yeti. Erasing the pencil marks I made before and peeling off all the stuff. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the card. I hope you've seen, yes, I was showing you how sticky that stuff is. You only get one chance, so please position it carefully. I hope you will join me if you haven't seen part 1 And I will be back later. Well, maybe next week for another video. So thank you for watching and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.